Wicki, and I'm the general manager at Celestial Beerworks.
Drew, and I am the owner of the Prophetic Podcasts.
All right. So tell me, how did all this come about with y'all coming up here at Celestial Beerworks?
One day Drew was here. It was we were closing down for a wedding that night, I believe, that we were having here. And Drew just walked into Celestial, and I guess I was just working here.
Yeah, I think you were working at the time, and a couple of my buddies came out from Houston, and they were asked. They had a brewery tour they were doing, and so they wanted to stop by here. And I came in, I was like, what is going on? Everyone's wearing pink. Like, everyone was wearing pink at the time. I was like, I don't think I'm dressed for this. But she came around from the corner, and she was very welcoming. And I came back. At the time, I worked close by. And so I came back, and I had what I thought was going to be lunch, but there was no food at the time, so I had beer. And we exchanged emails, and from then, we just started to kind of build a partnership. Man, I don't know about how you feel, but for me, both of our ideologies coincide really well. It's very inclusive here. And what we do in our podcast is very inclusive as well. And so I always wanted to do a live show, obviously, but I didn't know how to get that done. And we had a meeting one day, actually sitting right over there, and she held me to a date. And so I was like, oh, it's real. So now I have to actually really build this. I had the idea, but it made me have to kind of build it out in a real way. And so I think this live show is about inclusivity. It's about building community. I think it shows, no matter if it's color lines or gender lines, or if you're a brewer or we are a podcast or whatever your different genre might be, that it's possible to come together and build something. So for me, that's what it means.
Yeah, and kind of combining an event we already do here called Complicated Discourse, where we encourage people to debate and talk about important issues that we disagree on, or maybe agree on, or just figure out what we can bond over through disagreements. And so that goes, like you said, it coincides with what you do at your podcast, just discussing things. And so we figured, how can we combine the podcast with that event that already exists here and truly make it really collaborative between the two?
What are some of the conversations that you like to have on the podcast that you want people, either from Dallas or from all over, because you have viewers all over the world? What are some conversations that you want people to know?
A lot of times the podcast is geared towards growth, positivity, also bringing light to things that maybe you're not aware of, showing people different avenues and things they could do, talking about life instances, things that have happened to me, my parenthood. My podcast goes all over the spectrum. And that's kind of why, again, I like this place, because it's all over the spectrum. It's not orthodox. And so our podcast isn't orthodox either. That's why I think this thing works. So.
And what about you? What kind of conversations do you want people to know?
For me, it's about not so much about what the conversation is about, but more so how the conversation is happening. And so, kind of like I mentioned before, even if a really emotional, heavy topic, if you can learn to see a person sitting in front of you rather than just seeing their idea and attacking them or equating them with their idea, I think that's really where my passion for the complicated discourse began, because I wanted people to just practice disagreeing and having debates and still being friends after the fact. And so that's what I've recognized in the podcast, and broaching these difficult topics and still being able to come together through that and after that.
How has the city responded to the Prophetic Podcast when it comes to having a live show at the Celestial Beerworks?
So far, so good. I'm sure we'll see next Friday, but so far it's been cool. I think people are excited about something that's unconventional. You don't really hear of a podcast and a brewery having a live show. You don't hear about it. So I think it's a new thing. I think people are looking forward to it. I think they're supporting it. From what I've heard and what I've seen, we've gotten a lot of support behind it. So.
And what do y'all want people to take away from the podcast and from having it at local Celestial Beerworks?
I'll let you answer.
Yeah, I want people to be able to feel the way that Drew felt when he first came in here.
Yeah.
And feel welcomed and feel like they have a voice here, feel like they can be themselves. And we try to bring that in with everything we do here. With the beer, we try to make it approachable, even though there's a lot of complexity that goes into it. We try to make, you can see the space here. There's a lot going on. And so I think that kind of is it's an example of how we want someone to, we want a lot going on. We want people with a lot of differences to come in here and still feel like they have a place here. And so we want to do that with their voices as well, and with our partners.
For the show piece, I just want people to listen and find something they can gravitate to. So every show is not going to be the same. We're not going to talk about the same thing every time, but I hope that when you listen to it, you find something that speaks to you and brings you back for more. So that's the same thing I want from this live show. I want people to come in and feel accepted, feel welcomed, and feel like they gained something. Not just had fun, had some beer and some food, but I want you to also walk away feeling like you learned something or you gained something from it as well. So.
Can you give us a preview of some topics that you might talk about?
Community building. That's what it's going to be surrounded. That's about as much as that's as much as I'm willing to say. I don't know about you, but that's as much as we're willing to say, which is community building. That's the whole idea behind this whole partnership, was to build something unique and they can withstand the test of time, hopefully. So.
Yeah, and it's more than just a panel up front and people listening and watching. I mean, we really want participation as well.
Right.
And so it's truly going to be a discussion, not just with the people on stage, but with the audience. And so different, and it's going to be a party as well. I mean, we have a DJ, we have vendors.
We have a new beer coming out tonight. You guys
exactly.
get Prophetic Discourse beer. There'll be some candles. There'll be all kind of stuff. So it'll be a celebration. It's also, I forgot to mention this part. It's our 1 year anniversary of our partnership. They just had their anniversary, and it's also our 2-year anniversary as a podcast. So a lot of anniversaries are going on too. So it's a really important night for both of us, I believe.
Mm-hmm.